South Louisiana.
Vanderhoof, British Columbia, Canada.
Look at all the Canadians. We have Canada in the house. Who else is out there?
Kim Davis, Ontario.
Gina North, Cold Lake, Alberta.
Dean Hibbs, Oregon.
Oregon. We have a non-Canada. It's crazy.
Church bells are going off across the street.
Welcome, everybody. Keep it coming. We're just going to get started in about less than 1 minute.
Sally from Oregon.
Sally, welcome on. Who else?
Jerry from Chicago.
Welcome on, Jerry, Chicago.
Chandra from Saskatchewan.
Welcome on. We have Europe in the house joining on right now. Who else is out there?
Buck, Orlando, Florida.
Welcome on, Buck. Who else? All right.
All right, guys.
Yep, go for it, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead and hit mute, and we'll get started here in just a second. And can you hear me, Jason?
Yes, sounds good.
All right, real good.
And Mike, I did mute. Mike, I muted you. I was trying to mute everybody. If you unmute, then you're good. There you go.
Gotcha. And guys, Jeremy, Jason, be sure to admit people who are in the waiting room. Are you guys able to do that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, welcome, guys. We wanted to have like a Q&A again, in the middle of this launch. Before we begin, I just wanted to go over some things. You should be able to see my screen here. And, this is the back office. So I just wanted to make sure people understood, because someone had sent me a question yesterday, and I wanted to have it up just because the way they worded it was perfect. But it was basically just saying, I thought you guys were supposed to go to position 1, and then you tell your team to go to 1, and they tell their team to go to 1, and they tell their team to go to 1, until everyone all the way on down to the very bottom goes to 1, and then you go to 2. And then they go to 2, and then they tell their team to go to 2, and they tell their team to go to 2, until everyone all the way down went to 2, and then you go to 3. She goes, but on the session yesterday, you guys are already at position, 10 or whatever. And so it's really important, guys, that you don't have to wait for everybody in the entire organization to go to the next level before you do. And if you do that, there's going to be a huge delay because now you're entrusting your success on people you don't even know all the way on down, and you don't even know their level of urgency or anything. And so the process is absolutely, we let our team know, and when I went to 1, we let them know, go to 1, and then them go to 1. And then once it was a couple levels down, I was on to 2. And then I let my front level team know, and they let their front team level know. And then I went to 3, and we let our front team level know, and so on and so forth. And then it gets to the point, and I know a lot of people have a hard time with this, guys, but this is important. Like, I know you guys want to work in teams, and I do too. That's what we're doing. But not everybody can be first string. It's just the way it is. And, and by the way, there's a lot of debate on that philosophy. A lot of you have heard that debate in movies depicted somewhat jokingly, that some people feel like even if somebody came in last, they should share the first place trophy. In other words, there's a philosophy out there that somebody who wins shouldn't receive any more recognition than somebody who comes in last, especially among like children's sports and stuff. They wanted to get rid of first place ribbons and stuff like that. And there's another philosophy that thinks that really harms a team. And it takes away the spirit of that competitiveness can be very healthy. And that it's okay not to come in first. That should be the lesson if you did your best. But it's also okay to celebrate those that lay it more out on the line and that shine because they have a higher sense of urgency and follow through and commitment and all these things. Wherever you stand on that, that's up to you. But understand that while I believe strongly in teamwork, I also believe in the power of healthy competition with collaboration. And what that means is, if, for example, somebody doesn't want to run as fast, I'm not going to run slower and have my family and my goals be less accomplishable just to run slower. Here's what I'm getting at. If somebody doesn't want to pay the higher gas fees, can't pay the higher gas fees. There's a point in time where I'm going to let, my team pass me if they want to pass me. And I think Jason said that yesterday on the call. Somebody said or he came to me actually and said, hey, I'm looking at joining the Tron version of this. This was like a couple months back. I said, go for it. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I didn't worry about it. Go ahead. I don't slow people down or whatever with whatever they want to do. What they do might
Mike,
What's
let
that?
me just make clear. I have not joined Tron, everybody.
Yeah, no, and he didn't
Yeah.
because he was like, you know what? I want to run with you. If you're not running in it, I'm not running in it either. I mean, that's the power of teamwork and working together. But if he had wanted to, no big deal. Another example, if Jason wants to go to a higher level than me, he's going to come to me and he's going to say, I'm ready to go to the next level. Are you ready to go? That's awesome. That's collaboration. That's teamwork. But if I'm not ready to go, I might say, I need to get some stuff together. Can you give me a couple hours? Can you give me till tomorrow? I might even say. Now, he might say, you know what? I'm getting pressure from my team to go. So if it's tomorrow, Mike, it's too long. I can give you till tonight. Am I going to be mad at Jason? No. See, this is what I see in the team, and it's so wrong. It is so bad, guys. Like, if Jason wants to go at 5 p.m. tonight, he gave me warning. He gave me an opportunity. I say, Jason, can you give me till tomorrow? Can you give me till next week? Because I want to keep you in my group. If you go to that next level, you're going to jump me. I've helped you, Jason. I've worked with you, Jason. I've worked with your team. Can you do that for me? If he says, Mike, I'm getting pressure, I'll give you till tonight, but I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm not going to be mad at Jason. And guys, if you see that, if you see people getting mad at people in any way, shape, or form for decisions they make for their business, it is absolutely ridiculous. It's an indication of a really low level of personal development, and it's not good for teams. Now, here's what I could do. Let's say I invested massively into Jason. Let's say I invested massive time and energy into his team and felt that I was a major contributor to his success from that investment on Zooms and everything else. And let's say I asked for can you give me a week, Jason? It's like, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I'm not going to be mad at Jason, but if I felt that it was not respectful of the investment that I made, I may just not invest my time anymore into that person. That's okay. That's okay. But I'd still love the person. I wouldn't be mad. Guys, it's so important to understand how success in life really looks and works, and to know when you're not seeing it. So I never am upset with anybody for any decision they make in their business. I just may never do business with them anymore if I feel like it's not a good exchange, or I might invest less of my time with them. I may not return their calls anymore, or I may return them less often, or instead of meeting them urgently when they need me, I might ask for them to schedule next week. You get to make these energetic exchange decisions, but don't be mad at people for making decisions that are right for them and their family. And what this all really comes down to is I would never hold anybody back. If somebody's ready to move forward and grow, and they're ready to do it now, I'm not going to hold them back. I might ask them if they could give me time. But if for whatever reason they don't feel like that best serves them, I'm not going to be upset with them at all. I'm never going to use guilt tactics, shame tactics, or any of that stuff to encourage them to not go faster. I may say, hey, I've really enjoyed working with you. I've really enjoyed working with your team. I'd like to be able to continue doing that. So I tell you what, if you'd give me 3 days, I would love to be able to continue that partnership. How's that sound? Totally cool. You see the difference? So it's really, really important to understand that not everybody can run at the same pace. Not everyone can run at the same speed. You should be respectful to those that are serving you, investing time and energy into helping you build your business. And there should be an energy exchange there. But if someone makes a decision that you think doesn't fit within that energy exchange, that's okay. Don't be mad at them. Let them do their thing. Let people jump you that you think should have given you an extra day. Don't be mad at them, but maybe that changes how much you continue to invest with them in the future. But you don't own anybody. People can do whatever the heck they want in their business, and we want to respect that as entrepreneurs. We also want to respect the entrepreneurial spirit. When we see somebody who wants to run faster than we do or pay a higher gas price, ask for a little bit of time. But I mean, guys, when you start asking for more than a day, you better be investing a lot into them on a regular basis to ask for something like that. That's pretty rare, honestly. But just out of courtesy, asking for a few hours notice or up to a day, totally cool. When it starts getting further than that, you're literally killing the entrepreneurial drive and spirit that grows a team. You want a model, a business model, and this is the power of the capitalistic business model and the free market. You want it to incentivize and encourage those that are higher risk takers to get out in front of the pack and lead with their courage and make the most mistakes, take the most arrows, and often take a lot of losses along the way as they learn the way. You want the business model to encourage those that might be many levels below you to jump you if you're not ready, so that the organization can be led by that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. You need to have that, or it starts to really slow down, and you start seeing the excitement and the things that create growth come to an end. So important, guys. Teamwork's powerful, but not everybody's going to cross the finish line at the same time. And understand that even the weakest chain in the link benefits by having a strong leader who's able to run. So, because that leads and excites and shows and demonstrates what's possible. And so try to understand that. It's really, really important. And I'm going to show you a little bit more on this, because you guys coordinate with your uplines. You guys coordinate with your downlines. You guys make these decisions. I'm just saying it's really a sign of bad taste and a low level of personal growth to ever get mad at anybody who makes any decision for their business. And just, you get to decide how you want to continue working with somebody, how much time you want to continue investing into them based on the decisions they make. But make sure it's fair. Make sure you're always honoring the spirit of the entrepreneur, and understand that you need to have people who run. You need to have people that run faster than the pack, and you can't hold them back too long, or you're going to kill the spirit of the growth of the team. So keep all that in mind. And let's look at this back office here and kind of show some things that are going on and some opportunities that are here. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the plan for launching the marketing. Then we'll move into the Q&A. And I'm going to move pretty fast here. I just want to show you, like, this little number one here. This is the first position, right? This number one shows that it's cycled once. So if I click, I think if I click on, do I have to click on that to see it? No, if I click on this orange part, it'll open it up. And then in here, you see it's cycled once. So there's a lot of empty spaces now. But if I hit this little down arrow here, I'll see that yesterday it had cycled, they had all filled up. And what I want to show you is, this is position one. If somebody, falls in here or here or here or here, these are all positions that I'm helping fill. So as a team, we're working together to help fill, the sales for these positions. And so when you fill in one of these positions on a team of a producer or a team working together, even if there isn't a shining producer on it, but working together, or a team with a producer on it, you're working together to fill in those payment circles. So, now we look at cycled once, and now we see it's going through the process again. If someone's position falls in here, and it's not them, it's a payment circle, and I'm not going to go into that. We've talked about that before. I just want you to understand a different concept that I'm sharing right now. If you were to fall in here, then this person, in which case is me, this person, and anyone above is helping fill in those payment circles, those sales, or working as a team to produce those sales. Let's look at some of the higher levels here to really put this in perspective, and to help you guys understand, like, how those that are really successful with this look at this. So if we get down here to, like, payment, let's say, let's look at position 8. It hasn't cycled yet. Looks like it's about to, right? So I'm going to click on that. So if you were to get in here, or if your payment circle had ended up here or here or here, you got a lot of spillover and you got a lot of support. And when I launched the marketing funnel and stuff, let's say you're this person, 980791. But all the organization, this is the way it is. We're all working together to fill in those payment circles. I'm just giving you an example for my back office. So whoever fell here, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't even have to know them but we're working together as a team to fill in those payment circles underneath them so that this can cycle. And so it definitely works, is what I want you to see. And it's really, it's really quite remarkable. Let's go look at position 10. So there's lots of empty payment circles here. Someone's going to hop in right here. In fact, that's what's so powerful about not holding people back in your team that you want to see succeed. If they can go to 10 and you can't. Now, if you can get to 10 soon, then obviously you want to coordinate and you want to communicate with your upline. But if you can't go to 10, you don't want to hold your downline back from being able to move forward and thrive. You want to create a success story that you can point to. And if you have somebody who does that, who moves faster than you in xGold, than you can, you want to be excited for them. I would be. And then they're underneath you most likely in X3 and X4 as well. And so if they're making more money in xGold, that just allows them to grow faster in X3 and X4, gives them more money to advertise with. And it's a success story for your team to look at. See, this is how the successful teams think. They don't think, oh, I'm going to be mad at you because I can't go to 10 yet. You need to wait for me. Sure, a day, a few hours, but weeks, months, that's when it gets really becomes a negative experience. So teamwork's important, but not at the cost and expense of everyone's success and creating success stories. So, and just one more here, position 11 just opened up today. So you see like all these empty spots. And all throughout the organization, there's leaders. Like if we go down here pretty deep, so people are going to be filling those in, and then we're going to be working together to fill them in beyond that up to until it cycles. So if we go down here to position 10, and then we can't see everybody on here, right? Like if we were to look at this person and this person and this person, it keeps going. It goes really, really deep. And there are other leaders in there with similar charts. And so those that move sooner rather than later, they fill in those circles. That's how it's supposed to work. And while you should be working as a team, coordinating, saying to your upline, hey, I'd like to go to 10. I'm looking at going to 11. I think I can get to 8 today. And if they say to you, I'm not quite ready for 8, can you give me like a few more hours? Totally cool. Or I'm not ready to go to 8. Can you give me till tomorrow? I still think that's fine. But when they start saying, I'm not ready to go to 8, I'll let you know. And then like the next day goes, the next day goes, the next day goes. Guys, that's not an indication of a very successful team. You want to let people run who are ready to run. You want to create success stories. It's absolutely vital that we do. So with all that in mind, coordinate with your upline, but never hold your downline back. It's super important for a successful team. And that's the philosophy that creates the greatest level of success. Anything you wanted to say about that, Jason and Jeremy, before we move into Q&A?
I want to add, I had someone message me related to the issue around when can I upgrade and all this kind of stuff. And now this has happened many times throughout many teams, but in a recent situation with xGold, somebody was told down the team somewhere that they're not allowed to launch into xGold, and it was like nighttime. If I would never say this, but pretend like I said, hey, so-and-so, you're not allowed to launch because I need to go to bed, and we'll talk about it in the morning when you're at work. So I go to bed, and what it tells me, if there's situations like that, it means I would only say that if I didn't trust they knew how to do it. But I have leaders all throughout the team that they all have passed this off. The teams know how to stair step, and they know how to purchase, and they know how to do it manually, and know how to communicate with the person above and the two below. So I trust them that they know how to do this. They know how to check who's above, who's below, and am I good to go? Sweet, you're good to go. Good to go? Sweet, you're good to go. And that's been talked about for like 2 weeks now. I'm close to 2 weeks. And in fact, 2 months for the greater team with X3, X4. I share this because this has happened in multiple places in the team where somebody's waiting for like, hey, we need to all be level 1. And it's part of it comes down to, you have to trust people that what we've prepped them for, they could handle it. And one of the greatest tests was the whole organization suddenly had to learn on the fly in the middle of a launch how to do a manual transaction on top of, wait, what level are you? What can I do? All this stuff. And guess what? It worked, not flawlessly, but close. It was amazing. And so, but that comes from a massive amount of trust and faith in people. And also this, I love like Mike's philosophy around everything is going to work out perfectly. It's impossible to screw anything up. We can course correct anything. And then I turn that into, it's just a big game of Survivor played on the blockchain. And I don't know, Mike, do you have any, you've shared it in so many ways with me. I feel really fortunate because I have like hours of Mike telling me in different situations, like, this is totally cool. This is meant to be, we can't screw this up. Do you have any thoughts on that? I think it'd benefit people.
Yeah, and it just so you guys know, I'm going to go into the marketing we're preparing to do in a minute. That's why these slides are up that you see now. But I just wanted to say, you mentioned that we trust that we can't mess it up. It doesn't mean like there aren't going to be huge mess ups along the way. It just means when they happen, we don't freak out. Like, guys, you really think, I know a lot of people say like, oh no, I lost a bunch of gas. I lost my ETH. It's like, guys, you have any idea how much money I've lost from little mistakes or not knowing something, not just with this, but all kinds of things. But it's because I don't sweat it too much and I keep rolling that I'm able to learn and do really well. I can't overstate it. Like it's really what it all comes down to. So we trust people, we trust them to sign up and do their thing. Mistakes will be made sometimes. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. It's how you react that's going to impact what happens next. With all that said, Jeremy, anything you wanted to add?
No, you guys covered it good.
Okay, good. So just to reiterate, coordinate with your upline, coordinate with your team, but don't hold people back. It's so important. And things really then start to move. And there starts to be all these success stories as we fill in those payment circles significantly faster. Now, things are going phenomenally well. Really, I see this as a pre-positioning period. So between now and the end of 2021, my goal is to help as many people as possible. Right now we opened up position 11. My goal is to help people, like right now you might only be able to get to 5 or 4 or whatever. Our goal is to help as many people as possible fill in their payment circles so that they have the Ethereum to keep moving up the ranks all the way to position 15. Because we talked about, you get to position 15 and fill up those payment circles, which we can do as a team through the teamwork. That's 1,600 Ethereum. Now, if somebody only gets part way there, it's still life changing. And so that's the goal for 2021. And we just don't want to be holding people back if you want to see that happen at a fast speed. So coordinate, but don't procrastinate, and don't hold people back that are willing and ready to run faster than you can. With all that said, let's look at a little bit of just some things. So, this says market like a genius. We're testing all these different campaigns. Now, you might wonder, well, why isn't it promoting Forsage? People who aren't very good at marketing don't realize that just selling what you're selling on the front end without a little romance is not effective. It's just not effective. And also, well, two things. We have to stand out from everybody else who's marketing Forsage and other smart contracts, number one. Number two, we have to be able to market on the big networks. So like Facebook, YouTube. You're not going to be able to directly market, make money in crypto on some of these platforms like Facebook. So we have to be very creative about the way that we lead people into the presentations. So we're building these marketing funnels. There's going to be free versions of the funnels that you can use. There's going to be pieces of like you could use the whole funnel if you want to do ads, or you could just use a piece of the funnel if you want to use free methods. You can use another part of the whole part of the funnel, and I'll show that one, which is this one. If you have like a primary program that you want to market. So in other words, Like I'm in My Daily Choice. Some of you might be in another network marketing opportunity that's harder to build when you're leading with it, but you believe in it. And for long term, you get that compensation plan working. It's life-changing, big residual income. Not all of you will want to do that. Some of you are just going to want to market, Ethereum smart contract with Forsage. But those of you who want to use this to generate a lot of cash flow on the front end, build a big network, and then offer them a primary program, like in my case, that would be My Daily Choice, then you would use this part of the funnel. And, and we'll talk about this more when we launch. I just want you to, we have a really comprehensive, powerful system that leads people into all of this. And we're actually going to be using Forsage as a payment system with built-in MLM software. So you're basically all using Forsage as if you're your own independent network marketing company with an Ethereum payment system. It's really awesome. What that does is when we start marketing this on a massive scale, if we ever got the attention of a regulator who's saying, I think these Ethereum smart contracts might just be glorified gifting programs. They're not going to be able to say that to us because we'll have products that we market in association with it. And you guys are going to have the resale rights to those products. Again, you don't have to use all of the funnel. Some of you are like, oh, I don't need all of that. I just want something really simple. Well, you'll just get to use a piece of the funnel. And I'm going to be showing you everything I'm doing to generate leads. You have access to all the presentations that your prospects will see so that by the time they contact you, they're already like educated and informed and ready, pretty much ready to go. And then I'll also show you exactly what I say to them when they reach out to you. And when they reach out to you, they'll be asking you a specific question because that's what they're told to do in the funnel. So they'll come to you and they'll say, I don't know what the question is. I'm thinking more about the psychology of it, but something like, I'd like to know more about how to use the Ethereum smart contract to generate a lot of ETH. And so you'll be getting these questions and they've already seen all these presentations that prepped them and you'll know exactly how to respond to their question because I will have given you the answer already. And so you'll just be duplicating the same process that I've been testing and using. That's allowed me to enroll way over 100 people already. And we'll have a really awesome funnel, as simple or comprehensive as you want it to be. Again, if you want to use it like I'm going to be using it to generate all this ETH on the front end, build a huge list, build a huge audience, help them make money right away by setting them up with a funnel, and then say, hey, how would you like, that would be Rocket 1, we're calling it. How would you like Rocket 2, which moves them into my primary program. And again, if you have another primary program different than My Daily Choice, you would be able, it's set up where you could use that. But if you don't want to use that comprehensive funnel, you don't want a primary program, you don't want to develop multiple income streams, you just want to do this, you'll be able to use it to just do this. And you wouldn't refer them to that part of the funnel. You'd refer them to the simpler part of the funnel that just presents only how to make Ethereum with the Ethereum smart contract Forsage. So showing you exactly how I'm generating leads. It's all the presentations and everything are going to be there so that they're already prepped and informed and educated, coming to you informed with a specific question, and you already know exactly how to answer that question and then what to send them to next. Other resources in the funnel, you just send them to presentations that lead them to purchase with your affiliate link. So that's all stuff we've been working on. We've been working hard on it. The xGold launch, kind of slowed down the process of me developing all that, but as you can see, I mean, these are just some of the pages. And by the way, you might wonder, well, what's this have to do with what we're doing? Like this goes, how I grew my online business from 5K a month to 160 a month using this strategy. It has everything to do with it. But again, that's the power of effective marketing. It's about romance. Like a guy doesn't walk up to a girl he meets for the first time and says, I want to get married. How about next Sunday? You know what I mean? Like there's some romance involved. He might say, how you doing? Like, ask some questions, talk about other things that have nothing to do with what's on his mind. A lot of people that are marketing don't understand that. They just want to push Forsage in everyone's face right away, and they don't understand why people are like, I don't think so. People need a little bit of romance. And so that's what marketing is. And so a lot of the front end messaging that we're testing and trying on different platforms, it may be different than what you think it should be, because it needs to actually work. And to work, first of all, a platform like Facebook has to let us do it. They're not going to let us promote Forsage on the front end on Facebook. They don't let crypto programs be marketed on Facebook of that nature. And so we have to lead people in that we know has a message at the front end of it that attracts the perfect person. And then once we have their attention, we then in an automated fashion, move them through presentations that lead them to want what we're doing. And then they show up in your inbox already informed saying, hey, How can I learn more about how I can make ETH with that Ethereum smart contract? And off we go. So, this is what I do. It's what I've done my whole life. In fact, it's how I met Jason. He joined my first online training program in 2008 that I ever did. And he was one of the best implementers of it. And he went on to become wildly successful, not just from what he learned from me, but what he learned from a lot of places and from a lot of hard work. But this is what I do, and we'll be sharing with you every bit of it and giving you the resources, and there will be a free version of the funnel. And I know I've been talking about some comprehensive aspects of this funnel, and I will be sharing all that with you if you want to duplicate that. But there will also be very, very simple versions of this funnel for those that don't want to do all the fancy stuff and just want to keep it simple and just want to generate ETH with this smart contract, generate leads, make money, help them duplicate for free, not having to pay anything for it. That will be a part of this too. So what I'm saying is right now, I see everything we doing is pre-positioning. Everything we're doing is pre-positioning. Where are you going to fall? What position are you starting at? Is it position 1 in the xGold, X3 and X4? Is it position 2? You're just doing your best, starting from where the resources you have right now to start as far along as you can, getting pre-positioned before we actually launch this thing. And when we launch this thing, you're benefiting from the combined marketing of the entire team to fill in those payment circles. So don't hold your team back if they're ready to fill in some of these positions and get that kind of help, that are ready to move further along. Don't hold them back. Have those conversations, but don't hold them back. Give your upline a day or two. If it's somebody you're investing a lot of time and energy into, bring that up and say, hey, I'd love to keep doing that with you. Can you give me a week? But don't be mad at it if anyone says, you know what? The value you bring me ain't worth it. If Jason ever came to me and said, dude, I'm going to 12. Can you do it today? I'm like, oh, dude, I just sent a bunch of ETH off to my father-in-law who needed it for surgery. Can you give me a week? And if he came back and said, dude, I'm getting pressure from my team. They want to go now. And I go, all right, dude, can you give me till 3 days? And if he came back and said, dude, I'm doing this afternoon, it's happening at noon. If you can get it together, awesome. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I would probably respond because I work with Jason a lot. I invest a lot of time with Jason because I love working with him and his team. I would respond back, Jason, I've invested a lot of time into your team and you don't owe me a damn thing. I love working with you. I love working with your team. And I understand if you got to go at noon, you got to go at noon. But I want to be able to continue working with you as we have. And I'm not saying that I won't work with you if you join at noon, but it will probably be a lot less. I want to be able to continue running with you like we do. Can you give me 3 days? It's like, dude, sorry. I love working with you too, but my team's giving me pressure. I got to do it. I would not be mad.
And I want to play in this too, because there's the part, what it does is give me an opportunity. Do I need to go back to my leaders and lay down some law? Maybe they're not really pressuring me as much as they're making it sound like. Maybe they're trying to play emotional, like, Jason, I really, really need to go right now. And there's no pressure. They're just antsy.
So Jason would probably then go to, if he wanted to work with me at the same pace, have access to me in the same way, he would then probably go to them and say, I really like working with Mike. He's been really helpful. I don't know if you guys noticed, but here's some of the things that we've been able to accomplish because of his help. And I think you guys are going to actually be served much better if we continue to have his help. Can we give him a week to get the ETH together and stuff? And if he said he's not ready to go, then we can just roll. But, I want to be able to preserve that relationship, that business relationship, and continue to have access to the Zooms and everything. You see what I mean? It's a conversation and it's a decision that people get to make. So that's what we mean by teamwork. That's what we mean by coordinate with your team. But we don't mean hold them back and go, I'll let you know, Jason, when I can go to 12. You better not go to 12. That's not teamwork, guys.
Yeah. And Mike, I really love this conversation, and I want everybody to remember as well, this is when someone's adding a massive amount of value and you really the relationship means a lot. I'm chatting with someone right now and they're the person they help, they've added value, but they're telling me our whole team, we can't do anything. We're stuck here. And it's more like dictatorship.
Yeah.
and some of it's communication, some of it's facing some uncomfortable conversations, but a lot of it's just communicating what's really going on. And usually when you find both directions in yourself, when you get clear on that, usually there's always a really cool solution. So
all right, guys. So, as of right now, we're at position 11. I know most people can't go that far. We're in this pre-positioning phase before we actually set out and start marketing as a team in a big way and filling in those payment circles throughout 2021. I look forward to that most. I enjoy that the most. I like daily building. You know what I mean? I like helping people get results on a daily basis. I like having a goal like, let's fill in those payment circles up to position 15 and then, plugging away at it every day and helping people accomplish that. To me, that gets me going the most. We needed to launch xGold. It was exciting. It was awesome. And it's been a big splash for a lot of people. A lot of people still trying to do it. Gas prices are high. People are going to still be rolling in. Do the best you can to get in where you can. Do the best you can to help your team get in where they can. And if that's a higher position, then you applaud it, because they're still in your group in X3 and X4. And if they do well in xGold, it's only going to help you more. And if they get to work more closely with leaders, it's not bad for you guys when they're more successful. It's good for everybody. So keep all that in mind and start where you can start. Pre-positioning phase, I would say it probably ends in about a week or so, right? Gas prices should die down a little bit. Things should mellow out a little bit. More people will be able to come in and into xGold over the next few days and week, settle in, fill in some of the circles throughout the whole organization. That was pre-positioning. Then we get to work. Then we have fun working together, filling out those payment circles. With that said, and I'll have more, in about a week or so, I'll have more about the whole funnel and everything for you guys. And, whether you participate in it aggressively or not, you're going to benefit from it if you're in the team, because the team's working together to make those sales and fill in those payment circles. So definitely look for an announcement on all of that. But right now we need to spend a couple more days and do a week, letting people find their positions, upgrade where they can, and get settled in this pre-positioning phase. And then we'll begin with blast off. So with all that said, I really wanted to have a call for Q&A. So I'm going to, any technical stuff that people need. I know Jeremy only has like a certain amount of time, but I just really felt it was important that we share all of this so people had the right context for how we should move forward as a team, what that looks like, with those that are really successful at this stuff, versus maybe what it doesn't look like. So with all that said, go ahead and unmute yourself and say your first name, where you're calling from, and fire away. Any questions you're having or challenges you're having, and anything at all. Like, I'm going to start the question because I think this is a big one for everybody. Jeremy, a lot of people are seeing a situation where they put an order through and then it fails. The order, the transaction fails, and then it took their gas. You know what I mean? Like it takes the gas from them anyway, even though the action failed. And we see this, it says, attention, make sure the gas is set to 500,000 or more. It's talking about the gas limit there. Otherwise the transaction will fail and fees will be lost. So they did announce this yesterday in a different context on this community forum. They talked about it being set at 700,000, but not everybody got that memo. They did finally put this here. Jeremy, my question to you is this. Under ordinary circumstances, when the network wasn't so bogged down, I mean the Ethereum network, Bitcoin and Ethereum have skyrocketed. In fact, I think I had that up. Like look at Ethereum, it's now at over 1,028. Because Bitcoin and Ethereum skyrocketed, the network's really busy because people are moving ETH around like crazy, right? But before that, even when gas prices were kind of high, Jeremy, I was always able to just lower the gas fees, right? I could just lower the gas fees. And if it was really low, like sometimes I would set the gas fee to $3 or less, at $2.50, it would just take a long time. One time I went to bed, I woke up and it went through. I didn't have to worry about losing my $2.50, let alone my $100 now that I think I lost a couple transactions that I guess I set too low and I lost like $100 of ETH. What's different? Why is it that it just doesn't take a long time to go through? Why are we at risk of having to get canceled and just losing the gas prices, whereas before that didn't seem to happen?
So it's a good question. And in the original programs of X3 and X4, you could still see it happen, but it didn't happen as often. But it would especially happen when you're trying to come into level 1, it could fail. And part of the reasoning is it has to go through and set up your smart contract and your position within the smart contract setup. So now what's unique about xGold is that it still has to do that on the first transaction. You will see more gas paid on the first transaction because it's getting you set up with the connection to the new smart contract. Now, part of that is your last two payment circles are 50%. So in order for you to cycle and rebuy in, it has to store that half of that transaction. So it's a unique scenario that they've programmed to make it possible to even do something like this xGold on the Ethereum network. So when they're doing that, there's a lot more computing power needed by the miners' computers to store the transaction, because every single computer on the entire Ethereum network is running code when they're setting up that smart contract. So running that code is actually very expensive. It's processing power. You have to pay for that in terms of the transaction cost, your gas cost, as it's trying to process that transaction. So that's why they've even put it on the site. Now, what I would recommend is that you do even higher than that. Every transaction I do, I put at least 1 million in the limit. So it comes back and says my gas cost might be, 100 and some, or even more. You have to have that in your wallet to be able to do it. That's the unfortunate thing, but it's not going to actually charge you that much. But by setting, if you don't have that limit set, and for whatever reason, because of the scenario, the number of circles that are hit and how many uplines it needs to search to figure out where the 4 payment circles are going to fill in, et cetera, some transactions will actually take more processing power to figure all that out and figure out who the 4 people are that are going to be paid.
Gotcha.
So because of that, your gas price could be a little bit more, especially on that first coming into level 1 transaction.
Great answer, man. Okay. So if I could sum it up, xGold is unique in the way that it's set up. In order to accomplish what they did on the blockchain, which was quite an accomplishment, it takes more computing power. And because it takes so much, in some scenarios, depending on where someone's coming in, which payment circle they're coming in and stuff, it may even take more computing power than a different xGold transaction. So
Absolutely.
You're saying aim pretty high on that gas fee to make sure it can handle all scenarios with the xGold, and so the miners don't drop it. And the reason why they're dropping more of these, where it takes your gas fee, is because it's just taking too much computing power for where the network, because the network's so busy right now.
Partly that the network's busy, but partly because of it has to figure out where those payment circles are going to fill in. So what the limit does is it says if I reach this limit, so they're running it. They're using their processing power to run that code. And if the code does not complete before the limit is met, then the transaction errors out. But you've now already spent that gas because they've already processed that transaction, even though it couldn't finish because there wasn't enough for them to completely do the computation.
Right. So is this something we could expect to continue with xGold, like high gas prices because of that? Or do you think that when things subside with how busy the Ethereum network is, we could see those prices go down?
I don't think we'll see the prices really drop, even though the network slows down too much. It will drop. We've seen a lot of variation in the range of the actual gas price, anywhere from, some people have said like $17 all the way up to, hundreds of dollars. So it does vary based upon the network, because that gas limit is a multiplier. It takes the limit and what's actually processed, multiplies it by the gas amount, and that's how much you actually pay as your transaction fee. So whatever the going rate is for gas at that time is what multiplies into the actual payment. So it will vary, and it will be better once 2.0 comes out, because then the cost of gas will be significantly less.
And Jeremy's referring to Ethereum 2.0, not something Forsage is doing. So Ethereum 2.0 will improve the entire Ethereum network, and Ethereum will probably multiply by 100 in its value, is my guess. Which is why this is also exciting, guys. You really got to think of this as just the pains of an opportunity. Like, I gave someone an example today, which may not be a good metaphor, but for me it works. The gold rush. A lot of pains associated with the gold rush. This pales in comparison. A lot of pains associated with those that were part of the early development of the internet. or anything. It's just part of the cost of being there early. But as those pains go away and a technology becomes easier and easier to use and less costly to use and opens up to the mainstream market consumers, that's when the value skyrockets. And so that's why the opportunities here now, high gas fees, accidentally placing an order with too low of gas and losing your gas, losing your ETH, which I lost tons, guys, before I figured it out. I was seeing my ETH go down before. I'm like, why is my ETH going down? These transactions are failing. And I think I failed 10 of them. And I realized that's when I learned this. I think I lost like tons of ETH. But the point is, all of that is part of the price of getting to be here and generate lots of ETH working together here. It's just part of it. It's part of learning it, and how you handle that emotionally impacts everything of how much you end up earning. Because if you're really pissed off or upset or can't get over it, it's very unlikely that you're going to move forward and gain that momentum and that success that you'd otherwise have if you just realize that's part of the process, learn from it, move forward. Those are the people that do really well. So thanks for that, Jeremy. That was really, really helpful for me.
And one thing to keep in mind too is this is a business. So all your business expenses are something that you probably want to be tracking when it comes time for tax purposes. When you're buying a position on the network, the cost of that position and the cost of the transactions and even the lost gas fees, that's a cost of doing business. Right?
Yeah, you can write that off.
Keep track of all of that.
One other question, when you're talking about X3 and X4, there's less computing power, so the gas fees will be less expensive like before.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a lot of people have asked, now that xGold is launched, how are we strategizing and introducing, xGold versus X3 and X4? And I think this is part of the answer, right? If somebody can't handle those higher gas fees that xGold might have, it might be better to start them with X3 and X4 till you've had time to have that conversation with them. If you notice that's an issue for them. So something to consider. xGold has more computing required to process it, so gas fees will be more expensive. Sounds like right now it fluctuates between $17 from what we've heard, all the way up to, I've seen them higher than 200 and something, and I think even higher. It seems like 64 for whatever. It's the 60 seems really common for me. And again, that might reduce a little bit. It sounds like Jeremy's saying, if the network in general, the Ethereum network is slower, but expect it to still be fairly high for xGold, which may factor into you wanting to, some of you may want to just stick with X3 and X4 primarily for most people until you can have that conversation and say, well, we'll have a presentation. I mean, now that I know this, I'm going to put this in my funnel. And I'm going to say, look, if you want to do xGold, just know here's why the gas fees are going to be more expensive than X3 and X4, but here's why that's, could be a big advantage for you.
I want to add something onto that. The new people that myself and my team have been onboarding for the past 36 hours, in fact, for about a week now, they are all coming in with full intention to come into xGold. So if they normally were going to come in as, for example, a 6.6, it's about the same cost to go at 5.55 so it's X3, X4, xGold with full, there's not even, it's not even in the conversation. Wait, the gas fees are 50. Are you in a 5.55 or not? Are you going back down?
Yeah, I mean, people that are truly entrepreneurially spirited or are seeing, maybe they're new to that. Maybe they're seeing the opportunities of the time. They're seeing inflation, like stock market's going up. They see crypto going up and they're like, I am friggin' missing the boat. And if I don't do something, I'm going to be broke without retirement. Like, it's obvious everything's going up if you don't participate in these things. So yeah, those people are usually not going to, they're going to understand it's an opportunity cost. It's part of it. Okay, guys, go ahead and say your first name and fire away with a question.
Hey, this is Bob. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Bob, doing good. Go ahead.
I had a question about the hierarchy tool. I try to get into it, and it just keeps the spinning on a loading cycle. So I was wondering if anybody else is having those issues as well.
Everyone's having that issue. Anytime that Forsage changes their website, which, I mean, everybody's seen that now, you got 3 different tabs for X3, X4, xGold, etc. We're actually connecting to the website and pulling data off the site. So anytime the changes are made, there's going to have to be a change to the hierarchy. And that's just a matter of, I've got to go and program it. And we've been crazy busy with rolling out, so I don't have time to figure out how to change that code right this second. So people can still register so that they're getting the emails. They just won't be able to view the hierarchy until I get a chance to fix that code.
Thanks, Jeremy. And we, this is an example of leadership. Like Jeremy doesn't get paid to create that tool. All the hours that went into making sure it was created, and it already went down once when Forsage changed their site, and now they're changing it again. And it's a lot. And this is an example of, I just noticed time and again, those that end up doing well in life and business with opportunities, you see a lot of that. But I want to thank you, Jeremy, again, with everybody here, the level of commitment and the benefit to the entire team, people that he doesn't benefit from at all directly in any way. It's all because he's putting that energy into it. So thanks, man. It's been really helpful, that tool.
Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, Jeremy.
So after he gets enough sleep and can clear the schedule a little bit, we'll keep you posted on that, guys. Thanks for asking, Bob. I forgot about that. I was going to bring that up. Next question, guys, is say your first name and where you're at, where you're calling from, and fire away. I saw Aaron's picture pop up, but Aaron, if you're saying anything, I don't hear you. I don't know. Maybe you didn't need to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My mute was off, and that was my keyboard. So I apologize. But great to see you guys, and thanks for this informative meeting.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Who's this?
Tanis from Cold Lake,
Hi,
Alberta.
Tanis. Yeah, go ahead.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
My quick question is, when we're in the system of xGold and we have our placement, and we have all those empty circles, where we sit, we have to personally grow 30 spots in our first level before we can go down to the second level. Is that how I'm understanding it?
No, not at all. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's say this was brand new. I just started and I bought position 1 right here. Let's say that's all I had. And let's say it was empty. I just started.
Okay.
I can now purchase position 2, position 3, position 4 before these are filled up if I want to. So for example, it's a similar setup in X3 and X4. When I started in X3 and X4, I registered, and that registered me for X3 and X4, position 1. And then I purchased position 2 in the X3, and then I purchased position 2 in the X4. This was all like right after each other before I started building the business. Then I purchased position 3 in the X3, and then I purchased position 3 in the X4. And I just did this all in the same sitting, basically, all the way up to position 6, because that's where I wanted to start. And then that way, if I had somebody who wanted to also start at position 6, they could do the same thing. And that was kind of our starting point. So they could generate, yeah. So
I understand that part.
You don't need to fill in these 30 circles before you move on to the next position.
I'm talking like all these positions need to be filled before you go to the, I guess I missaid something. To go to the next commission level, like this 20%, 30%, 50%. I'm not quite understanding that. Like where I'm sitting in my hierarchy, or
just one second. Jeremy, do you have the slides that show the percentage? Because that would probably be helpful to have that visual.
Well, the visual you have up actually works. So on Mike's chart on level 2.
Well, I know, but it doesn't show the 20%, 30%. I know you have a photographic memory, so that literally is not even necessary for you. But for most of us, we don't visually see the 20%, 30%, 50% numbers.
Yep, let me pull that up.
So he's going to pull up a slide that shows those percentages as he walks you through that, just to make sure that's super clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm not quite understanding, like there's 30 spots there. Like I'll have 30 spots that I have to fill, or have to be filled, but do I do that personally?
Well,
are they going to come from other places?
Have you been on any of our sessions? Is this the first one?
No, I've watched some of the replays of the videos. I'm just
Okay.
not quite understanding some things.
No, I understand that part, and we'll explain it. So Jeremy has a slide up right now that shows the percentages that you make on the different levels. Let's start there, and then we'll tackle separately your question of, are you alone in filling in these payment circles or not?
Okay.
And so these circles represent those same, I guess, squares you see in your back office. When the payment level on the top fills in, that's where you get 0%. So it's only those first two top circles or squares that you don't get a personal payment on. As your second row fills in, any one of those positions that receives a payment, that's where you get 20%. Everything on the third row is where you will collect 30%, and everything on the final row is where you collect 50%. So
Jeremy,
every time you cycle, you'll collect it again and again.
So Jeremy, so you see the picture of you on the top, right?
Yep.
And who was I speaking to again? What was your first name?
Tanis Babus from Cold Lake.
Tanis.
Yes.
You see you there at the top, right? So that says Tanis. I mean, pretend you says Tanis. You see where we're looking?
Yep.
Okay. And then the next line down, you see where it says upline?
Yes.
Okay, so when you or someone upline to you makes a sale and that payment falls there, that it says upline because that payment goes to your upline. You get 0%. Are you following so far?
Yes, the first two people you bring in, one on each side of you, that goes to your upline.
Either you bring in or your upline brought in that fell there.
Right.
So that kind of answers your question of you're not alone necessarily. Okay. Now, when you fill up those two lines, whether you brought them in or your upline brought them in, then the next person you bring in, or the next person your upline brings in, or the next person that person brought in, falls to that far left corner, and you get 20% commission on that one, far left, second level. You see that position there?
Okay, yep.
Okay, and then the next person that your upline brings in that falls here, or the next person you bring in, or the next person that the person on your front level brings in, falls in the second position. It would be to the right. Yeah, right there, 20%. Correct, Jeremy? Right there.
Yep, if the payment is due to the person who's in this circle.
Well, like I said,
fall
if they brought them in, then it would be.
Yep.
So then, and this just continues to fill just like that. So as people make sales, they fall in and fill in this matrix, this, or whatever you want to call this 30 payment circles. When you make a sale, they're falling in here. When your upline makes a sale, and it's not going somewhere else because some of that, because they have their own version of this, right? They have their own 30 payment circles, and some of those 30 payment circles are right here.
I forgot the conference started an hour ago.
So does that make answer your question?
It clarifies it more, and I'm just gonna find some more information so I have it up on me and I can study it.
So now the other thing to keep in mind, Tanis, is that this says slot 1, right? So level 1, slot 1, whatever you want to call it. When you go to level 2, that opens up your next level, which also has 30 circles. So you definitely do not have to wait until you have 30 circles to collect a certain percentage. You get paid a percentage on each circle. It's not for that slot, right? So in each slot, you will collect the amounts based upon where the payment happens to fall in your 30 circles.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you look at your slot 2, which you can buy at any time after you've bought 1, you now have a whole new set of 30 circles under slot 2, and the same rules apply. If the payment falls into the top, you get 0, second row is 20, third row is 30, fourth row is 50. So it's just a matter of where that falls in.
And they are payments, not people. And especially in xGold, they will all be different on every single one as you continue going on. People are going to be all kinds of different places.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is a live example of that, right? So this was slot 1. And this actually already cycled. So if I click on this, and I hit down arrow, we'll see it already filled up once. And then it recycled. After it fills up once, then it goes, it all starts over again. It just keeps paying over and over again.
So that was basically your personal people you brought in, your team brought in, et cetera, or did they just kind of show up from everywhere?
No, that's people that my upline brought in, that I brought in, and that my team brought in.
Okay.
That's why we refer to teamwork so much. Like, you know, you're not alone in doing it. You're working with your team to fill in these payment circles.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Notice one of them is 8679. That ID is a very small number that just randomly fell into Mike's chart.
Yeah. So this person came from someone upline to me.
Yep.
So my follow-up question is then how come some levels are more full than others? Like I would think that level 1 would fill up faster.
I'll give a fast example. So because I think it'd be the easiest. Let's say, well, let's go to a more clear plate here. Let's say this person 993692 right here. Let's say they go to town, you know, they start making sales. Then their sign up's going to go here and here. Boom, boom. And then let's say they keep going and their team keeps going. They're going to fill in here, 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 and here. So that's why. That's going to fill up because they're becoming more productive. Let's say they just really work really hard today and the rest go to sleep. These are going to stay blank over here most, you know, and this is going to start to fill up. So it's going to be depending on who's the most productive and who's the most productive teams.
Hey, Mike, can you go back one screen?
I think you were talking about this one here. That one?
Yeah, that one. 8679, so everybody knows, that's Vitali. So he's way up there, and you can see Mike got spillover from Vitali. I think that's important, Mike, for everybody to know that it doesn't matter where you are in the matrix, there's going to be spillover.
So wait, so I signed up before Vitali?
Now he recycled and ended up falling down because of spillover.
Vitali recycled?
Yep.
So I think
when
that's pretty,
the payment was due somewhere and it ended up landing down onto your chart.
yeah, and I think that's pretty exciting because
It's really exciting. And thanks for telling me that. Yeah, Tony, sorry to be spacing out. I'm surprised. I had no idea. That's cool. And it's an example, you know, like of what I was saying earlier about even right now, like people ask, well, is it a benefit to me to come in now versus next week? It's like, well, yeah, you know, like, did I know, should have someone guaranteed, hey, Mike, if you get in now, you're going to get a tally underneath me? No, they couldn't have known that. But I just know, as with all opportunities, and here it's vividly clear, you know, the sooner you get in, the more opportunities you have to benefit from the team, the teamwork, and the way this pays out. So yeah, like, you know, if I write, like today, I came in at position 11. I did it in a hurry, like as soon as I could, because as soon as it came to mind, as soon as it made sense, like I don't hesitate because I want to grab that position because it makes more opportunities for these kinds of things to happen.
This is super critical. And I talked about this yesterday. This is the cost. This is the opportunity cost of being in things early, or it's the opportunity. The cost was Mike took fast action and he just randomly landed in some place. There's no way anybody in the company, including Vitali, could have planned how this was going to land. But now Mike got 7 payment circles on level 1 filled out by some other guy that was in many, many, many months before us.
Right.
Like now we had no idea that would happen. It could have been nothing, and nothing can happen on your end too. But the faster you move on this, and this is why we're like, guys, like, don't sit down there level 1, wait a day, level 2. Like,
yeah, and don't make your teams wait if you're not ready to go, because they're losing those opportunities. And I promise you, you gain more by having a team member make more money than you lose. You make more.
You do.
When you have more people successful in your team, even if you may not be making it on that position, they're in other positions for you, and they're in X3 and X4. And when they're more excited and they're doing better, I promise you that comes back to you in a big way. So yeah, all these empty circles like that I have, like we're working together to fill them in. And that's a great example, Tony. Thanks for pointing that out. Even Vitaly, who's like in the top of this whole thing, ended up underneath me. But that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in that position yet. So it's all about money loves speed. That's the saying. Money loves speed, and it's true in every opportunity. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. I'm just kind of confused. Like, so if the higher levels are worth more, why would they not be filling up faster than the lower levels? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not really quite understanding that.
Well, not everybody has $8,900 sitting around.
Gotcha. Okay. But then I'm looking at the lower level and it's not filling up as high as sort of like
these have cycled. These have cycled. You know, they are filling in fast. It's just, again, I'll show you. There's a history here.
Those cycles meaning that it's already gone through and so it clears out again. Is that?
Yeah. Like I'll show you. Like this is what actually happened. Hold on. My computer's really slow. That's what I was showing earlier is, and my computer's really slow right now, but it already filled up and now it's filling up again. See, it already filled up. All of my lower levels already filled up and are filling up a second time. Does that make sense?
That makes sense then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, right here, like it says, position 1, it cycled once. So this one already filled up and now it's doing it again. For position 2, for whatever reason it didn't, but you can see it's already filling up. And you might wonder why. It could just be, you know, who knows? Like it depends where the payments fall.
Yeah, it's the timing of the payments. Those two people right above those 4 or 5 spots just haven't had their payment circles filled in yet.
Well, also Vitaly might not have fallen underneath me in this one, but we know that he fell underneath me in this one, so it filled it up faster. And then position 3, it already cycled and now it's on its second round. Position 4 already cycled and now it's filling up a second time. And it's just going to keep doing that. And each one of these things coming in as a payment. Again, you want to grab a position, you know, if you're moving forward with it, you want to grab a position as soon as you can so that you have it there so the team can be helping you fill in the circles. You don't want to just buy it and never want to contribute or never want to just hope to get rich. Like it's just not how I would participate with it, but there's clearly massive advantages because of the way that it's structured to encourage teamwork.
Yeah, I think it was just the cycle that I was getting confused about.
Yeah, it took me a while to understand that on the X3 and X4 as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Jeremy, do you got to run?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, guys, sorry, you know, I went a little longer than I intended to, but at the beginning of this, if there's more questions, we're going to do this again tomorrow. So we'll just keep doing them. 3 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. That's 6 Eastern. Tech help, whatever you need. And I'm going to try to just shut up tomorrow and let Jeremy just do any kind of tech help that he needs. So I'll be here, but I'm going to hand it over to you, Jeremy, almost immediately tomorrow. So any questions at all tomorrow that your team have that are more technically oriented, we'll let Jeremy connect with you guys right when we begin the call tomorrow. All right, guys, we're having a blast. It wasn't without some chaos and some challenges and losing a lot of ETH here and there with little mistakes that we made. It's part of the process. But if you roll with the punches, you get knocked down, you pop back up and you run, this is the kind of opportunity and this is the kind of team that you can really accomplish something phenomenal with in 2021. So again, coordinate with your uplines, coordinate with your downlines, but don't hold your downline back if they're ready to run faster than you. That's the key to this. It really is. We'll fill in those payment circles together. All right, guys, I'll be in touch.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
Tony. We'll send you another link out tomorrow. All right, bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Good night. Good morning.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Love ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Susan.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All the best.
Bye.
Everybody.
Great evening.